Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome here. This is Nick Nedelchuk, your Localie for today, and I'm here to make a live broadcast from Moscow. This is going to be an online tour that I'm going to be hosting from here. I'm going to tell you my story, but before that, I will just shortly introduce the platform and just explain what is going on here. So welcome, hi Chagla, nice to see you here on this live stream. So, Localie is basically a platform which is connecting travelers with verified locals, and locals are normally showing you around when you travel, visiting a new city or country. But right now we're in the middle of pandemic, and of course international travel is nearly impossible. So right now, during the pandemic, we decided to make a long series of these online tours from all different countries and cities to show you how locals are living there and what is going on there. Today I'm dressed really warm, right? You can see this fur. This is like a really warm jacket on me because I'm in Moscow. I'm in the capital of Russia. I'm originally from Ukraine and I lived here in Moscow for 7 years, but after that I moved to the Netherlands. Last almost 3 years I lived in the Netherlands, and because of the pandemic I relocated back here to Russia, to Moscow. I'm a startup founder myself. I'm also locally here in Moscow. So first of all, you can talk with me about startups and venture capital things, but also I will truly show you Moscow just as you visiting your good friend. Today we have a very special online tour because I'm going to talk about the nest for the innovators and for the startups here in Moscow. So I'm staying here inside the building. We will start this tour from the co-working space where I'm working now, spending all day nights. And then after that, we will go out of the building and also see a little bit of the neighborhood. So you will see how is it like to live in Moscow right now in December 2020 in the middle of pandemic. So I hope you're ready. I see that many of you already joined our meeting. Let me just pin the comment really quickly so the newcomers will understand what's going on. So it's going to be innovations and startups in Moscow. It's going to be a topic of our online tour today. It's going to be pretty short, so I hope that in 30 minutes we will be done. You're welcome to ask me any questions, and also you can actually impact on what I'm doing and where I'm going. So if you want me to turn right or turn left, just tell me that in comments. I will see that and I will follow your instructions. In Moscow, your Localie Nick. So I'm typing in the comment and I'm gonna pin it for the newcomers. Good. Here we go. So just posted. Now I'm trying to pin the comment. Here we go. Yes, now you can see the comment. I now see that Instagram introduced a whole new interface, but I will get along it. Good. So turning on the camera, but before that I probably will just wipe it up a little because I just came back from the street and it's cold over there. So where we are. This is basically one of the main, but a lot of the many innovation hubs of Moscow. This is a whole 5-floor buildings dedicated for startups and innovation companies. The name of this building is, and the name of the company which is providing such a huge, tremendous co-working space is Рабочая станция, which translates from Russian as Workstation. You can see there this caption, the name of the company in Cyrillic. So basically, when you are coming here, you can just pay as less as 12 euro per whole day, and you can rent a workplace over here in this whole building. So it's located in a city center of Moscow, just a few blocks away from Kremlin, and I'm working from here already since September. So in September I moved back from the Netherlands to Moscow, and now I'm based in Moscow, and I'm renting here the flexible workspace. You can see here a lot of floors. This building is actually open 24/7. Some of the floors are occupied by some companies. Some of the companies prefer to stay anonymous. So for instance, over here, this whole space is rented by a company, and you can't see any name on it. Normally, very well-known companies do like that. They renting the spaces in the co-working areas, and just they want to stay anonymous in a quite a crowded place, so no one knows that if you have some problems with let's say a taxi service, you need to go here and you need to knock the door. This is one of the companies that I'm talking about. So here in summer, of course, Moscow is beautiful, but it's also beautiful in winter as well. So here you can see the winter sun and the terrace, which is open normally during the hot season, but right now it's closed. We have a piece of snow over there, but when we will go out of the building, you will see more of the winter Moscow. Well, first of all, let's just go downstairs from here. This is my favorite space, which I'm using for having all different kind of meetings. The problem with the building is that we don't have much, or we don't have many meeting rooms. So I actually have to come here outside of these co-working spaces and stay on the staircase and having all the different meetings. So if you're gonna have a meeting with me, most likely this glass window will be the background that you will see with me. So once again, over here, these lucky guys, they have this office space that they are renting. This is a company, so it's not available for everyone. But over there on the right, you can see the floor for where everyone could just book a table and work from there. So there are quite a lot of people working right now in Moscow. There was no lockdown, and while the big larger companies, they prefer to let their employees to work from home, the smaller companies and of course freelancers and startup founders, startup employees, they would prefer to work from the normal environment. And this is not it is allowed here in Moscow. So if we're gonna watch over there, gonna look over there you can see Ivanka. She's walking together with me and with some other colleagues. Yes, she's waving here in the chat. So this is she. Basically, I'm sitting just nearby. So we can all wave to Ivanka. Ivanka, would you wave to us like in real life? All right. Thanks. Thank you. Okay. So this is my favorite floor where I'm sitting all the time. We also have a small kitchen over there with a coffee, with a tea, so we can use also all the different amenities. More floors just like that. So I'll just simply go downstairs to show you our common areas, and after that we will continue to outside of the building, going and exploring the neighborhood. Meanwhile, you're welcome to leave any questions that you have. So I'm really happy to see all of you here on this live online tour. Once again, my name is Nick. I'm a local in Moscow. I'm used to live in the Netherlands. Just recently in September, I moved here to Moscow since my business is purely in travel, and in the Netherlands we don't have much space for developing travel tech startups. But in Russia, considering that they still don't have any lockdown and they don't plan to have any lockdown, of course we feel very good. To be here and develop the business. We actually even got some really big partners during last couple of months in the midst of the pandemic, which is of course great for the travel tech startup. So here downstairs you can see the Christmas tree. Now you know that in Russia we celebrate Christmas as well, but as a heritage of the Soviet times, the Christmas is the second holiday after the New Year. So New Year is celebrated quite tremendously, while Christmas is more like a family small holiday. And also the Christmas here in Russia, it takes place on 7th of January. It's called Orthodox Christmas because of the differences in the calendars. Like Catholic uses, they're using a different calendar than Orthodox Church, and that's why the Christmas in Russia is a bit later. So it's after the New Year. So we're actually having a very great, wonderful, I would say, New Year and Christmas holidays that are starting around 31st of December, and then they are continuing until almost 11th of January. So 10 days in a row, banking holidays, where everyone is just, you know, having fun, and everyone has a day off. So here on the bottom floor, we have a sitting area where we can invite our guests, and where we can just, you know, have meetings with someone who is visiting us, and they don't need to pay for the co-working space, obviously, because they are our guests. Also here we have some meeting rooms, not too many, and they all paid. Normally we should pay around 7 to 8 euro per hour to have this co-working room. So now you definitely see one of the main advantages of being here, living in Russia, comparing to Europe, just because of the prices. This is one of the main reasons. Well, prices here is way lower than in Europe or in the United States. So also you can see some example of Cyrillic. Let me know if you can read the name of this meeting room. You can just, you know, post it in the comment if you're following. So this is their something is written in Cyrillic, but I think you have a hint on top with the icon. So basically all the meeting rooms here, they are named after the Star Wars characters. And yeah, now you can have a look at how we write the Star Wars characters' names in Cyrillic. Yeah, we do that, right? Good. But before we go and leave the building, over there is quite a nice shop, which looks pretty cool, because it's like self service shop. So you can basically grab here some coffee, you can grab some snacks, and just pay it for yourself. So there is no cashier. Everything is pretty transparent and open. So you just grab something from the shelf and pay for it using this terminal. It's also pretty innovative, right? It just looks like that. For instance, I've just recently bought this wonderful notebook, which looks extremely similar to Moleskine, and even in a way better. But unfortunately, the price is almost like for Moleskine. This is the bad part. So that was a very short tour of the place where I'm residing. Now I'm taking my hat. Also, I'm gonna wear some gloves, and we're gonna make a short tour of the neighborhood. Also, we will see Kremlin, which is just nearby in a couple of blocks from here. So I hope you stick to me, and we will explore a bit more places just in a second. Yeah, of course, I need to wear all the warm things. Today the weather is not extremely cold. It's only -5 degrees, and to be quite honest, nowadays the winter in Moscow, and just even in general, it's way warmer than it used to be many years ago. So when I was a child in the 90s, the weather was extremely cold here. And we could have -30 degrees here in Moscow, but right now even snow is a rare thing in Moscow, especially now in December. So as you can see here, we are entering the embankment. This is a water canal, which is just located close to our building. And as you can see here, we have no snow and no magic, so it's just melted because the temperature was pretty warm last days, but during this week the temperature dropped down to -10, -5, which is still okay. So over there you can see there are a few flags hanging. The first flag is the flag of Moscow, and the second flag is the Russian national flag. They just put it recently. It's quite an interesting story. It's not really typical for Russia to, you know, put flags everywhere, like in the United States, for instance. So I would say Russians are not really big fans of their flags, and you wouldn't see a lot of flags here. Also, the flag here is probably, as I feel, the association with the state, with the government, and well, I think in many countries people don't like their governments. So it's here in Russia. So this is the building, the old building, which was renovated and basically extended. So here from the street, it seems like it's an old building and nothing interesting inside. But as you could see before, we have like a large co-working area inside, and it looks pretty new, pretty cool. but the view to this side is way better than the view that you used to see before. Here you can see why Moscow is beautiful and why Moscow worth your attention, because we have an amazing combination of view, just like this building, and old, just like those buildings, the heritage from 19th century, the old blocks apartments over there, and also the wonderful church. Very far away from here, you can see the dome, the Golden Dome. This is actually the main Orthodox church, the main church for Christians here in Russia, but also for Christians in many other countries who are kind of like, dependent on the Moscow Patriarch. So we're gonna walk a little aside of this embankment. We're gonna continue this walk to the very bank of the Moscow River, and we will observe Kremlin just in 10 minutes from now. And let's just keep an eye on this beautiful district. This is basically pretty center district. It is very it's pretty expensive, and it's very popular among rich people because it looks like a small town. Moscow looks like a small town here. Not a lot of tall buildings, a lot of historical buildings, and it's just the vibe of this district is really relaxing and nice and cozy. And it's still like in the city center, so it's very easy to get to any place in Moscow where you would like to go. Before we go, let's just look at this taxi, and let's just look at the logo that they have on the top. So in Russian and in Cyrillic, you can read it as Yandex Taxi. Yandex is basically one of the most popular brands, the IT brands here in Moscow and in Russia, and they have a lot of businesses connected to IT. So taxi is one of the business. They have a very cool and very easy to use apps that you can use, and basically when you're in Moscow you will see a lot of Yandex everywhere. Moscow is pretty innovative city, and you can actually enjoy here by the a lot of apps that are helping you to get through, like to food delivery. There is Yandex Food for that, and for taxi I just said there is Yandex Taxi. The Yandex actually is one of the Russian companies that are developing their own technology for self-driving cars. So this is a different topic that we could once discover. And basically in Russia there is an only city in Europe where self-driving cars are legally allowed on roads. There is this city is actually it plays a role of an experimental polygon, experimental area where the self-driving cars could give a ride to the passengers. So when you gotta visit Russia, definitely you should give it a try. If you're tech addicted, basically in that city you can order a self-driving taxi, a self-driving cab, and get a ride to a place where you want to go. So here is a very nice small neat office. I really love to watch that side all the time when I'm just having a walk over here. So just to let you know, now I'm just repeating my everyday walk from the office and to the place where I'm having a dinner or a lunch. So it's a food court. It's located over there, but also in that way there is a Kremlin. So we are approaching Kremlin quite soon. For those of you who are not so familiar with Russia, do you know how Kremlin looks like? Let me know. So when you see the Kremlin here in this live stream, in this online tour, just let me know that this is Kremlin and not something else. So here you can see there is another restaurant. This is pretty like ordinary district here in the city center. So as you can see, right now everyone is allowed to go on the streets. There is no lockdown in the country. Basically there are still some COVID restrictions. For instance, we can't travel abroad. We just can travel to a few countries, but we can do that for the many other countries. But in the normal life, that the life is almost like it's usual. So all the cafes and restaurants are open. However, when you visit a place, when you are staying inside the building, you are not allowed to be without a face mask. But when you are just walking the street, everything is okay. So I don't need to wear a face mask. Although it would be good because the temperature here is pretty low. It's -6 degrees. So I would love to have a face mask right now. So I'm sharing with you my daily routine. So I'm walking this street, and I'm normally going to that food court located in this building. It's a really nice food court, and probably we even try to have a look inside to see what's going on. In summer, this all is a beautiful terrace. So while in winter the temperature here in Moscow is really cold and low, it could be, well, it's quite frequent, the temperature is below 0 degrees. In summer it's very warm and nice, and from May and until October we could have a lot of restaurant terraces which are great with a nice overview. So just try to imagine sitting here and observing this old Orthodox church, which looks like it came from the fairy tale. It's great, right? So here you can see, I'll just try not to disturb everyone. I will just try to show you what's inside. So there are a lot of kiosks where you can get some food, all different food. I'm not going to go inside because they would ask me to wear a face mask, and this will be an interruption for our online tour. But well, it's really great. There are a lot of food malls here, the food courts, just like Time Out Market in Lisbon, in Moscow. And also once I was actually even making a tour of one of the food court. So if you want to watch it, you can go back to our localie.co profile, and then you can simply go and check it. Oh, this is a good one. So I'm not sure if you're going to be able to look at and see that, but you can try. So there is a caption. It's a light box, so it's you know you can see it from here probably. So that one, right? It says Moscow, Paris, Moscow, Paris. It's written in Russian, so now you can see how we write Paris in Cyrillic. Let me know if you like this kind of style, writing everything in Cyrillic. Actually, it's always like 50-50. Part of the you know city captions and signs are in Russian, but part are in English. If you're gonna get to Moscow, and if you're gonna visit Moscow, you will also see that Muscovites, they are not really fluent in English, and just a few people could speak fluent English here. The reason is that basically the culture, the population of the country is huge. It's 145 million people. There is a very strong culture. A lot of you know, bloggers, a lot of contemporary modern culture. So you basically don't need to speak another language but Russian if you want to just, you know, read something, watch some videos, and, you know, be in trend, know some cool things, right? So this is another street we're approaching, an office building on the left from us. So you can see here a guy with a bag on the bicycle. This is Yandex Food. This is food delivery service that I was just talking about. So we have quite a lot of food services here, and Yandex is one of the leading food delivery service. So, are you ready to see Kremlin? Because we are just approaching it. And I hope you remember that I'm expecting you to let me know when you see Kremlin. But before that, let's enjoy this street. It's already around 3 o'clock here, afternoon in Moscow. But here on the north, the sunset is really early. So at 4 o'clock, it's gonna be dark already. And we are enjoying Moscow, and it's almost evening hours. So we can spot even a beautiful sunset. This is one of the very nice streets that I really love. Well, Moscow in a way is similar to the United States. Here you will see a lot of cars, but not a lot of pedestrians on the streets. The Moscow government is trying to change the whole situation. They're trying to make Moscow more attractive for pedestrians, and they're succeeding in that. So we now have a lot of beautiful, gorgeous, amazing pedestrian spaces in the city, and you can definitely enjoy them. They are great. But still, like majority of the places in the city, of course, they're not equipped well for the pedestrians. So still a lot of cars. And just today, when I was commuting to my office, I was just talking to Ivanka, and we were discussing that we are now in the car staying in the traffic jam with like dozens of different other cars, but there is nothing on the street, although it's like on the sidewalk as a pedestrian, although it's a city center. So I hope you see those domes over there in front of me, which is the domes of the Saint Basil's Cathedral, one of the most significant, one of the most well-known and famous churches and cathedrals in Russia. This is probably one of the symbols of Russia that you would definitely see in the news. So when there is a journalist who is telling you the story of something going on in Russia, then definitely he's staying here, and on his background there is St. Basil's Cathedral. By the way, there are some guests from Latvia, from European Union, and look at this view. I love this view with these old buildings and also with a sunset light. By the way, the hotel, the building on the right from me is the hotel. It is a Kempinski hotel, part of the international chain of the hotels, and it's located just in front of Kremlin. So I will turn my camera a little bit to the left. The towers on the left from St. Basil's Cathedral are basically Kremlin towers. So we are approaching the embankment of Moscow River, and on the opposite bank of the Moscow River there is Kremlin. Well, this part of the city is not really popular because all the tourists, they are normally staying near the churches and near the Kremlin, very close to it. But here, when you're staying on this embankment, although it's pretty noisy here, you will enjoy a beautiful view and an amazing reflection of Kremlin in the water. So when you're in Moscow, you can follow my advice and just, cross the river using the bridge and enjoy the view from here. Look, by the way, this is probably the first day when I see that Moscow River is frozen. There are still, these pieces of ice in it, and it's not like completely frozen, so you cannot go down to the river and cross the river just walking on the ice. But soon I hope it will happen. Although here in Moscow it's forbidden to walk on the ice, because there are still some all seasons ships that could crash the ice. So the ice cover is not completely good, and it's not strong. It's not safe to be on. So look at this view. Over here, old buildings, old historical buildings, and then on the left side from us there is a new project which is amazing, to be quite honest. This is a Zaryadye Park. This park was actually designed by New York architects, and then it was constructed here a few years ago. It's really cool, and in the warm season it represents all different climate zones of Russia, around 8 of them. So you can feel like you visited all districts, all parts of Russia, just being in one park in the city center of Moscow. Also, they have amazing views on Kremlin. But this bridge is blocking the view on Kremlin for us, so let's just pass by the bridge, and on the other on the other part of the road, we will enjoy a beautiful view. Well, meanwhile, I will tell you this interesting story about this bridge. Well, you know, it's not all good with politics here in Russia. There are a lot of struggles, of course, with the regime that we have here. And yeah, there are a lot of problems, of course. So one of the things that took place some time ago is one politician who was pretty active in terms of like opposition. He was killed by someone, so it's still not really, it's just a very secret story. No one really knows why and who exactly made this, who exactly killed that person. But the thing is that that person was killed on this bridge. And after that political murder, a lot of political activists who are, you know, honoring the memory of that politician, his name is Boris Nemtsov, they even trying to rename this bridge after his name. And still there is a kind of like a national, like a monument for that person, for that politician, which is actually taken care of on the bridge with a lot of flowers and also with a lot of posters on it. So they're trying to rename this bridge, but right now this bridge is called something like a big stone bridge, but in Russian, of course. So here you can enjoy a beautiful view of Kremlin in Red Square. Red Square is basically over there between the tower and between the St. Basil's Cathedral. It's really big, so if you're gonna go that direction, you will go a long way over there, and it's a huge place. Also, you can see here the second tower. From the right, it's quite well known because this is the main tower of Kremlin, which is usually shown again on media when they're talking about Russia. So look how beautiful is Kremlin. This is basically the place where Russia started, well, Moscow started, of course, sorry, where all the state government is resided. But also it's an amazing museum. So you can get inside Kremlin. There, it's not a big problem. You can easily get inside. To do that, you just need, you know, to buy a ticket and then go through. There is still security. There is still a security on the entrance, and well, basically they can. They just ask you to show what you're bringing with you, and but it's nothing usual, just like in the airport. So look how gorgeous it is. And there are, as I said, there are all-season boats that are cruising along the river. You can take the boat. The website is rivertickets.ru, as you can see from here. So the next time you're in Russia, even if you're coming here during cold season, you could definitely get a boat ride. But yeah, it looks like this particular boat is not really safe and healthy, considering the amount of smoke it's just it's extracting from inside. So look how beautiful it is, the Kremlin. Over there, far away from us, you can see the skyscrapers district. Well, 5 of top 10 Europe's tallest buildings are located in that district. This is a business district with a lot of skyscrapers, but they also have a really cool restaurants with a panoramic view on 16th floor or even above it, with amazing view of entire Moscow. So when you're here, I would definitely recommend you to have a dinner over there. So this is Moscow. This is the city where I came after living in the Netherlands and where I'm developing my business right now. So in this online tour, we started from our co-working space. We saw how startup and innovation workers are, you know, equipped, how they're spending their days and nights here in Moscow. Then we had a very nice, peaceful walk through the neighborhood and approached this beautiful place on the bank of the Moscow River in this cold and frosty but sunny day, and enjoyed the beautiful Kremlin, where you can get inside, but there is also president's office located and actually occupied. It occupies a part of the Kremlin, and of course that district is restricted for the visitors. But the major part of Kremlin and of that district, it's actually open for visitors. That big building, large building, yellow building over there, it's actually the building where a lot of official ceremonies take place, like the inauguration of the president. So we are nearly finished. For those of you, if you came and joined us just recently, then you can just again watch this tour from the very beginning. I will keep it and save it, and it will be available for everyone. If you want to watch it once again, if you want to share it with your friends, please go ahead and do that. I will do more of these tours, and if you're gonna share in comments, what do you like? What would you like to see in Moscow and in Russia? I would gladly make it happen. So once again, beautiful Kremlin and the sunset here in Moscow. Thank you very much for joining me here. There are going to be more online tours, and of course, when travel restrictions are lifted, I'm really looking forward to see you and meet you here in person in Russia. So follow us, localie.co, and I'm looking forward to meet you in person later, and also to see you during the online tours. Have a good one.